So let's go ahead and start doing stuff with our animator. So first off, we need to get access to the animator. So we've done this before when we did our animation offset, but let's do it again because we have to. And underneath rigid body, type in animator with a capital A. And I'm just going to call this one anim. You can call it whatever you like. And similar to before, we're going to go in and do anim equals this dot get component. Oops. Component and animator, just like we did above. And it's going to warn you maybe that it's not being used. That's okay, we're about to use it. Okay. So underneath of our look rotation, we want to tell the animator when it should be moving and when it shouldn't be moving. So how are we going to do this? The main thing we probably should note, I already erased it, but when our movement vec is fully 0, we probably shouldn't be moving. We're standing at that point. We're not trying to move. And when it's not 0, then we can go ahead and turn on moving and start playing the walk animation. Cool, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to do an if statement to check if that vector is equal to 0. So let's type in if, and let's go movement vec. And then the way you check equality in C# is by putting two equal signs next to each other. And then what we can do is type in vector3 dot 0, which is conveniently a vector with all zeros. And then we're going to do our open bracket, close bracket, just to denote what we want to do if it equals to 0. So if it does equal 0, then that means we're standing. Hence, we want to turn moving off. So the way we do this is we go anim to access the animator, and then we're going to use the function set bool. So bool in this case stands for Boolean, and that's by no means a normal thing to say in your day-to-day, but pretty much what Boolean means is true or false. So we want to set moving to be either true or false, and we need to let the animator know that that's what we're trying to set. We're trying to set a value that is true or false, or in other words, a Boolean. So we're going to do set bool, and then open parentheses, and you can see it takes a name and a bool for a value. So let's type in the name, open quotes, closing quotes, moving with a capital M. And then we can do a comma. And if the movement vec is 0, we want moving to be false. So we type in false with a lowercase f. And no quotes around false, just as it is. Okay, awesome. And let's also do the converse. So if it's not moving, so underneath it, we can type else, and then do an open bracket, close bracket. And this means if our movement vec does not equal 0, so that means we are at least moving to a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and copy what I did above, paste it down, and instead put in true. So if we are moving, then set moving to true. Let's go back into Unity and test. So if we have this here, now after we press play, let's see what happens. So we are currently standing. And if I press forward, we start walking. And if I stop, we stop. So you can see that our character sort of looks like they're moving now. It's not perfect by any means. Animation is pretty much never perfect, but it gets the idea across pretty well, I think. I think if someone were to come and look at this, they would argue that that is a character who is walking around. And if we wanted to polish this up a bit, I might drag our RPG character into our camera follow script, just so we can follow them around. And we can maybe walk over here and just hop up there and boom, walking around. And if I remember correctly, there is a bug with this. So if I do this, so thank you. So there might be an issue with everyone's implementation currently, or there might not. If there's not, then you're perfect. But let me see if I can get it to happen on mine. So if I bounce up and then hit the edge of this, where it's going to keep sliding forever and just sort of launch off. And this isn't really, this would be probably pretty difficult to find if you didn't know Unity. So I'll just sort of show you what's happening. But what they're using is a physics material, which is something we haven't covered yet. But a physics material affects how an object moves around. So it sort of affects how much like friction they have on the ground, so how much they slide. Maybe if they're moving, you want them to stop faster. How bouncy it is, so you can make an object really bouncy. So if we went back to our rollerball and added a bouncy sort of physics material, then whenever it hit the ground, it would keep bouncing around and be really funny. But in this case, what they've done is you can see there's a material on our capsule collider. If we double click on it, it gives it to us, and we can see that there is absolutely no friction at all, no matter what. So that means whenever we hit something and gain any velocity, that velocity stays forever because we never reset it. We're only moving the position of the character. So the way I would handle this is by going to the RPG character and just deleting the material, just clicking on it and then pressing delete. It doesn't need a physics material. Everything has a default one. So if I press play and then try to bug it out like I just did previously, I should be able to hit this and then not slide on forever. So that's nice. So if you guys were encountering that, that's how you fix it. So yeah, that was animation and character movement within Unity, and sort of displaying how different characters can be tied in. So sort of showing you that even though we were using a rollerball previously, we can do something like this and it still works relatively well. It's maybe not perfect for the scenario, I will give you that, but it does show you how it could be utilized. Yeah, and then in addition, we started touching on animation. In a future workshop, we are hoping to actually take animations that have been authored by other people and start tying those together to actually make a nice animation state machine. So like actually to create our own animator, create all these parameters on the side, create all this stuff, albeit much less complicated, and then show you how it will tie in, so you guys will know how to do it from the ground up, since that seemed to be what you guys showed interest in based on surveys. I agree, animation is really cool.